Good evening, everyone. So my name is Rajesh Govindraj. So I'm a faculty of geography at Vision IAS. So it's been 10 years since my association with Vision IAS, and it has been a wonderful experience. So teaching as well as learning at the same time. So in today's session, we are going to analyze this optional subject of geography and see how exactly to approach and how exactly to prepare this optional subject. So you guys have decided to take geography optional, all of you? Any of you are doubtful yet? Still confused? Okay. So any of you have started preparation, have studied optional as such? Studied the preparation. What have you studied? You completed the whole syllabus. Okay, so you're taken any classes as such? Okay. Okay. So let me start with the general things first. So any of you had appeared in the mains? No. Okay. So geography as an optional subject, there are many myths and few challenges are also there, of course. So let me just clarify this basic idea regarding this optional subject. Before we start with the geography optional, so let's see what is this optional. What is the idea of optional subject in UPSC civil services? Why UPSC has this particular area, like choosing one optional as a part of your entire preparation. What is the idea behind this? Kabhi socha hai? When it comes to general studies, in the notification it is very clearly given the purpose of preparing for this general studies, the purpose of this syllabus. What is the purpose? To check the candidate's suitability for this career in civil services. How much aware he is regarding his surroundings. So a well-educated person without any kind of specialized study would be able to appear for these general studies. That is the basic idea of general studies. A person who is appearing for civil services will have this general awareness. So what is general awareness according to UPSC? To knowing about one's history, culture, okay, so the economics of the country, economics of the world, okay, so and the political setup, including geography, the environment, the science and technology. This one should have that general awareness. That is the idea of general studies. Along with general studies, there is one optional subject which you have to choose. Why this is part of the syllabus? Part of this examination, why? So are you aware that before 2011, there were two optionals in the syllabus? Okay, so there were two optionals in mains. There were only two papers of general studies, GS1, GS2. And each optional with two papers. There are four optional papers. Okay, so two subjects, four papers. This was the pattern before 2011. In fact, even in prelims also there was optional. Okay, so in prelims there were two papers. One is optional, another one is general studies. And optional carried a highest weightage, like around 300 marks. General studies carried around 150 marks. Okay, people used to study, so even I'm from that time only. Okay, so prelims may like you have to study optional. So people used to give maximum focus to optional, so that because it is also required for mains. Okay, so and people used to score 250 out of 300. So competition khatam wahi pe. So rarely we used to study for general studies. Okay, so general studies के लिए पढ़ना ही बहुत मतलब prelims के लिए तो चाहिए नहीं, that it is not required, right? So if the cutoff is around 200, you will cross cutoff with just one optional subject itself. So and in mains anyway, there was only 2 papers of general studies, 4 papers of optional. So see, the earlier idea of optional of 2 subjects was basically, so it was introduced long back. When the examination of civil services was conducted in the earlier days, because of the low literacy rates, low awareness regarding the examination, low access to resources, less people used to appear. Okay, so very less people used to appear for the civil service examination earlier. Okay, so you go back in time like 30, 40, 50 years ago. To encourage more people to appear, okay, they decided to check the candidate suitability in their own subject. Okay, so in their own background, they wanted to check. ठीक है, तो rather than giving a common syllabus, तो चलो आ जाओ, तो आपका जो background है वहीं पे हम check करेंगे. So that was the idea of optional earlier. Okay, so but over a period of time, we know the competition has increased to a very drastic level, you know, so there's not necessity of checking one's suitability in the background itself. So gradually the focus has changed to one optional. That is why one optional was removed. There is one more optional still there. So even now, why do we have one optional? Because the entire preparation is very, very general. Okay, so it's an ocean of general knowledge, general studies. So of course, a civil servant is a generalist. He's a generalist. He is expected to know something of everything. That is what is a civil servant, right? So, but still, he should have the capacity to study a particular subject in a specialized manner. You may not require to study everything, but you should have that capacity. You should have that caliber. Okay, so that is the idea of optional. Given a chance, whether will you be able to go through things in very detailed manner? Okay, whether we will be able to study the subject in detail. That is why there is no necessity of taking an optional from the graduation background itself. अगर ऐसा है तो बोल देता तो whatever is the graduation background, so you will have to appear with that. Okay, so you have to choose a specific area and study that in detail and then perform in that. You are free to choose any of the options you want. Okay, from Hindi literature to engineering to sociology to psychology. So such vast area. You choose one of these area and then prove that you are capable of doing a systematic specialized study. That is the idea of optional. Okay? So with that purpose, they are continuing. There is also a recommendation that even this single optional should also be removed. But तो rumors हर साल आते हैं. Okay. So as long as UPSC decides to do so, we have to prepare for optional, right? So now, this is the overall pattern of the mains. Okay, so written stage. In this, we know that there are a total of 9 papers. In these 9 papers, there are 2 language papers, which are called as paper A and paper B. Paper A is one of the Indian language, which everyone has to choose and write. Paper B is English language. Both of them are for 300 marks. This is just qualifying in nature. The marks of these papers will not be counted. So other than this, there are a total of 7 papers. In that, paper 1 is essay. Paper 2, 3, 4, 5 are GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Then comes optional. Paper 6 and paper 7 are optional. You have to choose one optional subject. Okay, so which will be tested with 2 papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Okay? So similar to other general studies paper, each paper of optional will carry 250 marks. So this is total of 500 marks out of 1750. Okay, so that is what is optional weightage. Of course, like later 275 would be added from interview, total marks would become 2025. Okay, so out of 2025, optional carries 500 marks. Okay, so we'll come back to the importance of this. So in this optional, you have to choose one optional. Like UPSC has given a list of optionals. How many options are there as per UPSC? कितने optionals है total? 26? 25 plus 23. 48 optional subjects are there. 25 subjects you can see the list here, plus 23 subjects of literature itself. Okay, there are a total of 23 literature subjects. Out of this 48, you can choose any one. Okay? So out of this 48, you have to choose one optional. Earlier you had to choose two optionals out of this. And UPSC also gives one more hint that what is the level of study which is expected for optional. Okay, this is given under notification. The scope of syllabus for optional paper. Okay, the scope of syllabus for optional papers, that is paper 6 and paper 7 for the examination, is broadly of honors degree level. What is honors degree level? 4-year degree level. Okay, so 1 year above the general degree of 3 years. Okay, so it is between the graduation and post-graduation. Post-graduation is 5 years, graduation is 3 years, it is in between. In case of engineering, medical science, law, anyway they would have studied for 4 years or 5 years. So that is sufficient. Okay, in any other subject, whatever the graduation syllabus is there, so in that, one more step. Okay, so it is between the post-graduation and graduation level. That is what is the overall expected syllabus for the optional. So in this, the entire syllabus, entire examination of UPSC civil services, what is the role of optional? Do you think it is just limited to 500 marks out of 2025? Is there any role of optional in prelims? What is the role of optional in prelims? There is no direct role of optional in prelims, but some of the subjects contributes. Okay, so some of the subjects contributes in prelims preparation also. For example, geography, history, political science, public administration. They have some contribution. You prepare the optional thoroughly, there is a good advantage in that area. Okay, so mains, of course, 500 out of 1750. In the mains written main examination, 500 out of 1750 is not low. Okay, so you cannot equate these two papers as two other general studies paper. Never. In fact, compared to the other 5 papers, these 2 papers are highly important. Why? In any other general studies paper, okay, so कोई भी GS में GS 1, 2, 3, 4, if you score 125 out of 250, okay, मान लो इसमें paper GS 1, GS 2, okay, GS 3, GS 4, we have 4 general studies papers. In this, if at all you score 125 out of 250 in any of these, you will be one of the highest scorer in that particular paper. It is very, very rare to see that. It is very difficult to cross 500 in GS. Okay, something which is highly impossible. A good score is considered to be 100 to 110 out of 250. Okay, so essay good score will go up to 150. Okay, essay is a different game. But essay का भी बहुत variation होता है from 150 to 100. Okay, people who have scored 100, 120 also they are able to get into the list. However, in optional, a good score is always 150 out of 250. Your target in optional is 150 out of 250. That means combining together 2 optional papers, your target is crossing 300. Is this possible? Very easily possible. Most of the times the toppers in each of the optional would be around 300, 310, 320. This year 2023 geography topper was 323. Okay, so that is possible. And it is impossible to score this high marks in general studies, even though the overall weightage is same. Okay? And if you, let's say if you score 125 in each of the paper, you are scoring 250. 250 together in two papers, this is considered to be low marks in optional. जिसका 250 आ गया तो मतलब गया. Even if you get interview call, you may not get into list most of the times. You have to score about 250. You have to aim about 280 to be considered as good. About 300 is very good. 280 to 300 होना चाहिए. Target 300 होना चाहिए. 300, 310. उसके ऊपर तो हमारे हाथ में नहीं है. ठीक है? So if everything goes well, तो it is fine. Target should always be crossing 300. And it is possible. ऐसा नहीं कि impossible. It is I would say it is impossible to score 150 in GS. Nobody has ever done that. In optional, people score 160, 170, 175 out of 250. Okay, so usually एक पेपर में इतना ज़्यादा आ जाएगा, दूसरे में कम आ जाएगा, तो होता है. So that is why optional becomes most crucial in your mains. इतना scoring potential और कोई भी नहीं, और कोई भी पेपर में नहीं. And area is limited, specialized. Limited का मतलब of course ही यहाँ पर भी बहुत ज़्यादा हो सकता है. It can go much wider. But the questions which if you see the previous papers and the area of coverage, it becomes more specific than general studies. General studies is literally anything under the sun. Okay, so हो सकता है कभी भी, मतलब कभी भी कुछ भी आ सकता है. That is the importance of optional, and it doesn't stop here. Even in interview also, even in interview stage, they will check how much you have prepared for optional. बताओ कौन सी optional है, so they will start to ask, and they will categorize the students, categorize the candidates according to their optional. Even if you go to UPSC's annual report, they will also see how many successful candidates are from this optional, this optional. Optional is the very basis of seeing the candidate's suitability in this examination. Okay, so at least few questions will be there in your interview also regarding optional. Okay, so of course few general studies will also be there, polity related to question hoga hi hoga, irrespective of the background. But optional pakka. In interview, there are three areas on which the interview would be done. One is optional, second one is your graduation, third one is your DAF. ठीक है, detailed application form. So optional becomes very, very crucial for UPSC civil services examination. So now coming to the most cliched question, I can say, how to choose an optional. Okay, on what basis you have to choose optional. Okay, so I assume most of you have already decided to take geography, but if at all you have not decided, okay, let me just help you. Okay, so in selecting the optional which is suitable for you, it may not be geography also. There are certain factors one has to consider before choosing the optional. Okay, so what are the most important factors? I'll give you these factors in the order. Okay, so order means the सबसे highest preference first इसी factor को ही consider करना है, nothing else. The first factor one should consider always is the interest in the subject. Even it is not necessary that you have to consider those subjects which are from the graduation background. I'll tell you that. Okay, वो वहाँ पर भी आएगा. सबसे first basic criteria is always interest. Because the association with the optional is going to be very, very crucial in your entire main examination, prelims as well as interview. I'll just explain. Okay, so and sometimes this is going to be a longer one. Right? So you aim to clear this examination in the first attempt itself. Even for first attempt also, you have to study for this optional subject for at least 1.5 years. Okay, so there is this long association with the optional. Okay, if something goes wrong, if you don't get a chance to appear for interview, even if you appear for interview, let's say you don't get the rank which you aimed for, you may appear again. You have to read again. And optional 90% usually remains same in a particularly a subject like geography. You have to read the entire thing again. General studies, there's more thing to learn, more thing to add. Okay, it's easier to do. but optional, if you don't have interest, it becomes highly difficult to move ahead. Okay, interest is the most important thing because of the long association. You don't have interest, don't see optional just from the 6 months point of view or even maximum 1 year point of view. You have to see whether you will be able to study this subject at least for 2 years. Sometimes it may go up to 3-4 years also. Will you have the curiosity and interest in those topics? Okay, to read something by yourself, whether there is the coaching or books or notes or not, whether you have the curiosity to read it by yourself or not. That is the most important criteria. Second, in optional, why interest is important? Okay, so in optional you have to study in little bit more detail. थोड़ा सा डेप्थ में पढ़ना है. Okay, graduation plus 1 year का जो level है. In that level, you will not be able to go in detail if you don't have interest in the subject. You have interest, you have curiosity, somehow you will try to read it. वो तो समझ आ जाएगा. Okay, कोशिश करोगे, समझने का कोशिश करोगे. Somebody is not trying to force it upon you. General studies में ऐसे तो नहीं है, तो you have to study. There is no other option. ठीक है. So some parts of the general studies, if you don't have interest, you will just read it. ऊपर ऊपर से पढ़ के जाओगे. बाकी जो जहाँ पर strong area होगा वहाँ से manage करोगे. Nobody will read general studies 100%. Okay, so everyone will have some weaker areas. That is the liberty. Okay, so some of them may have weaker area in art and culture, some of them may have weaker area in, let's say, world history or economics or let's say geography itself. हो सकता है, किसी का भी हो सकता है, but they will have other stronger areas, so there it is balanced. But in optional, you have to be 100% sure that you have thorough interest. General studies is like our family. Okay, family member जैसे. You don't have choice over there. Whether you want or don't want, they're there. That is also the strength. Okay, they are going to be there. Optional is like companion. You have the liberty to choose. And compatibility is very much important in that. Interest. Right? So compatibility नहीं है तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So that is why interest is the most important criteria for choosing optional. Okay, so of course for anyone who is considering UPSC examination, so there will be many subjects which is of interest. Let's say anyone who has studied little bit of general studies, they can choose at least 3-4 subjects of interest. Okay, let's say you have equal interest in 3-4 subjects. Now you want to narrow down. The second criteria will become the support. What is this support? Support can be self-support also. So here comes your graduation background. Okay, if at all you have studied 3 years or 4 years of graduation subject, that becomes a very good support for you. Okay, that is one of the support. Other than this, the coaching available, material available, how readily you can get the material, all of this, that is the consideration. Okay, so if you are able to identify 2-3 subjects of your own interest, out of these, try to see which one has a better support. Okay, so let's say you have chosen geography, political science. Okay, so and law, ऐसे मान लो, interest है, पढ़ने के लिए interest है, and if law doesn't have much of support at all, so of course if you have equal interest, you tend to go towards those areas where there is a good support for you. Okay, this is always better. Preparation easy रहेगा. ऐसा नहीं कि optional खुद नहीं पढ़ सकते हो. You can prepare optional by yourself. You have interest, you can prepare, but it will take time also, right? This support will reduce the time which is required to be taken. And here comes the graduation background. If you have interest in that subject, then you will consider. If at all you have no interest in the subject and you took something for graduation, तो वहीं से first stage में ही eliminate हो गया वो. दोबारा उसके बारे में सोचने का ज़रूरी नहीं है. ये नहीं सोचना 4 साल पढ़ लिया था, अभी यहाँ पर भी चलो पुश कर लेते हैं. वहाँ पर 4 साल पढ़ के पास करना ईजी है, यहाँ पर तो स्कोर करना मुश्किल होगा. There is no point at all. If you had taken a subject in your graduation which is of not much interest to you, या लेने के बाद में पता चला ये तो बहुत बोरिंग है, तो यहाँ पर काम नहीं चल रहा है, तो वहीं पे छोड़ दो. ठीक है? So how will you know whether you are interested in a particular subject or not? So there is a syllabus. Okay, go to notification, syllabus. There are some previous questions. उतना क्या है, जनरल स्टडीज़ में मिल जाएगा आपको थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड. Okay, so most of these humanities subjects, they are all part of the general studies. If at all you are finding it interest, that means ठीक है, correlate कर सकते हो. So then comes the contribution in GS. Let's say you're stuck with two optional, both are interesting for you, both have good support. Then you can consider the other factors. The other factors would be contribution in general studies. Some of the subjects contributes to a very great extent in general studies. Okay, so in prelims as well as mains. ठीक है, मेंस में 1000 मार्क्स का है, 1000 मार्क्स में चलो 250 छोड़ो, एथिक्स का छोड़ो. ओके, एथिक्स में भी कुछ सब्जेक्ट्स आ जाते हैं, ठीक है, बट so there is some good role in choosing this optional. Once you find the subjects which is of interest to you, once you find that there are good support for that, in that case you can consider these contribution in general studies. Last factor would be whether it is scoring or not. You may ask, if it is not scoring, why should I select a particular subject? Trust me, there is no subject which is not scoring in UPSC. If at all you have considered these factors, you will end up scoring for sure. If you have an interest in the subject, if you have a good support, you can definitely score. Any subject for that matter. That is why you don't have to consider this in the beginning. Okay? Low scoring comes whenever you have chosen a subject which is not of good compatibility for you. You are not finding it interesting. You are not finding it easy. You are not good in that expression, or you don't have good support. Only then there is a low scoring. Otherwise, every optional will have a good scorer. Okay, every optional will have their own topper. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि कुछ optional में सबका marks कम हुआ है. Very rarely you will find that. You take the UPSC annual report, you will find in the rank list all of them are there. Okay, so of course some of the subjects may have good number. Their numbers may be higher. Okay, but that's because more number are choosing there. See the initial numbers also, right? है ना? Wherever you have interest, wherever there is a good support, wherever there is a good practice, you can easily score over there. And of course, it's not that easy. मेहनत तो करना पड़ेगा. But you can score. Scoring is not a factor to be considered in the beginning. It is a total myth. इस साल इसका स्कोरिंग नहीं हुआ है, उस साल इसका स्कोरिंग नहीं हुआ है. बिल्कुल नहीं करना है. और कुछ चीज़ें जो नहीं करना है ऑप्शनल चूज करते समय. ओके, अब सो मेरा रूममेट ये सब्जेक्ट ले लिया है. ओके, अब सो बगल वाला ये सब्जेक्ट ले लिया है. ओके, अब सो या पेरेंट्स सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं. Please don't do all of this. These are the only factors to be under consideration for choosing any optional for that matter. So if at all you are able to cross this, and let's say you have chosen an optional, and let's say that turns out to be geography, then we can go ahead with the approach. Okay, let me tell you why people choose geography. Okay, so I can say what are the advantages here. Before that, let me just give you a broad idea what is the subject of geography. For those who are new to the subject, geography is basically the study related to all the phenomena, all the process associated with the earth. Right? Geo is earth. Geo is earth. Graphy means description. Even though the term geography says just the description of earth, we are not just going to limit ourselves to just describe what it is. To describe in detail, we have to understand in detail. We have to analyze in detail. We have to understand each and every phenomena related to the earth. It is basically everything related to the earth. Okay, the subject studies everything related to the earth. If it is about the study of physical features of the earth, okay, so physical characteristics like land, like air, atmosphere, like water, oceans, or the soil, that is what is called as the physical geography. Okay, so geography's basic area includes physical geography. Physical geography is about the study of physical phenomena. And then there is a human geography. Human geography related to the human aspects. The economic aspects, okay, so economic activities, or the social interactions, the population, settlement, right? All these aspects, we call it as human aspects. Then there is political aspects, political geography. Then there is historical aspects, the geographical thought. Then there is mapping related to, that is what is called as cartography. And within this there are subdivisions. In physical geography, depending upon the study of what aspect, you have a subdivision. Study of land is called as geomorphology. Study of atmosphere is called as climatology. Study of ocean is called as oceanography. Study of soil is biogeography. Study of environment is environmental geography. Is that right? So geography becomes a very, very diverse area for that matter. The overall idea of geography. I have been studying geography since last 15 years. So अभी भी खत्म नहीं हुआ है. I hope it doesn't end. Right? The subject of geography deals with the study about the earth. Right? ये है geography. Now, why people choose geography as optional? You know, geography is one of the most favored optional subject for UPSC aspirants. So when I used to prepare during my time of preparation, this was the most common optional. At that time you had to choose two optional, right? So one was compulsorily geography. And people used to prepare for like 2-3 months and appear for examination. Clear bhi ho jata. Yes. And in fact, now you have to choose the optional before the prelims itself. When the application, you fill the application, that time itself you have to choose the optional, right? So that time you had to give the optional choice during the mains. Mains detailed application form mein aapko bharna tha. Many people had not even decided to take geography, and they would take geography after the result of prelims, and they will prepare and they will write also. And they will clear also. ऐसे भी कहानी हुआ है. It was one of the most preferred subject. Other than geography, it was public administration. Okay, जब दो ऑप्शनल था ना, ये दोनों ऐसे कॉम्बिनेशन था, पब एड जियोग्राफी, पब एड जियोग्राफी, पब एड जियोग्राफी, ये सोशियो जियोग्राफी. ओके, सो सोशियो पॉलिटिकल साइंस ये सब तो अभी आया है. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स यूज्ड टू टेक दैट ऑप्शनल ओनली. एंड जब दो ऑप्शनल का पेपर होता है, यूपीएससी हैज टू कंडक्ट दिस फॉर ए लॉन्गर पीरियड मेंस, क्योंकि you cannot conduct all the optionals on the same day. Is that right? बहुत सारे लोगों का ज्योग्राफी भी होगा, पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन भी होगा. एक ही दिन तो नहीं कंडक्ट कर सकते, ओवरलैपिंग तो होगा ना. सो 1 day ज्योग्राफी, 1 day पब एड, 1 day सोशियो, 1 day पॉलिटिकल साइंस, ऐसे इट यूज्ड टू गो फॉर लाइक 25 days खाली ऑप्शनल का. एंड यूपीएससी का जो ओवरऑल टाइम टेबल भी है ना, नंबर ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स जैसे लेते हैं उसके ऊपर दे यूज्ड टू फिक्स इट. एंड सबसे हाईएस्ट कैंडिडेट्स जो लेते हैं वो सबसे पहले करके ख़त्म कर दो उसको. अरेंजमेंट ईजी रहेगा कंटिन्यूटी में. सो फर्स्ट डे इट यूज टू बी एसए, सेकेंड डे GS1 GS2, ओके. सो थर्ड डे वॉज लैंग्वेज, फोर्थ डे यूज टू बी आइदर जियोग्राफी और पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, फिफ्थ डे यूज टू बी आइदर पब्लिक एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और जियोग्राफी. जिनका पबाड जियोग्राफी है 5 दिन में ख़त्म हो गया. ओके, टाटा बाय बाय. सो रेस्ट ऑल ऑफ देम वर जस्ट स्टडिंग फॉर 25 days. And imagine the plight of the person who has taken PubAd and geography 5-day marathon. It was one of the most preferred. Madhab, people used to be either go with these combination only. Then in between their number decreased. After the pattern of the mains it changed, you had to choose only one optional. Okay, and in between there was, for some year there was difficulty. The way the questions were sitting in, तो भी थोड़ा सा difficult हो गया था. So then it decreased little bit. But still, even now, it is not decreased to that great extent. इतना तो नहीं है. It is estimated that based on the UPSC annual report, between 25 to 30% of the students still go for optional geography only. ठीक है? Why? Because of the first factor. Majorly because of the first factor, interest. Okay, so when you study geography, if you study systematically, if you study thoroughly, if it is taught systematically, you will find it very, very interesting. And it becomes appealing for all the streams. Unlike few of the subjects which becomes appealing for only particular group of students. Geography is appealing for everyone, both from humanities as well as from science background. Because geography is both art as well as science. Okay, so geography is both art as well as science. It is part of both. And everyone from any background finds it interesting. That's because geography is very, very practical, most practical subject. Whatever we study as part of geography, you would have seen, major part of it you would have seen and experienced by yourself. Okay, you go out and you will see the type of land in which we are present. We are in Delhi, okay, this is totally plain area, flat alluvial plains. You can correlate. And away from the oceans, the temperature becomes too hot during the summer because of the land gets heated up too fast, right? And during the winter, the same criteria becomes opposite. Since it is away from the coastal area, land loses the heat faster because the specific heat. What is specific heat? The amount of heat required to rise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. Specific heat. The specific heat of land is low compared to water. Whereas in case of water, it will not heat up faster, it will not cool down faster. It remains warm. That is the basic reason behind the temperature extreme between Delhi and Mumbai. Is that right? One who are from the coastal area, whether it is Mumbai, Kolkata or Chennai, they would know. It will not become too hot or too cold. It will become too little bit hotter. That's because of the humidity factor. Humidity makes it more hotter because it absorbs heat and makes it more hotter. Otherwise, it will not become too extreme. Okay, you want to see extreme, come to Delhi. Winter, 5 degrees Celsius. Summer, this time we have crossed 50 degrees Celsius. That is due to the location, nature of the overall topography. Whereas Himalayas is little bit or interior. It is little bit more interior. Why Himalayas doesn't show this kind of variation in temperature? Because of altitude. With increase in altitude, temperature decreases. Normal lapse rate, we call it as normal lapse rate. So don't get confused or don't be afraid with these terms. I'm just bringing you some correlation. It is very easy to correlate with the surrounding geographical phenomena. You go to the mountainous area, it becomes low temperature. Okay, it becomes cooler. That's why people from this entire northern plains, they flock towards the hilly areas. Okay, सबको पहाड़ जाना है, मैगी खाना है उधर, right? Because it is cooler comparatively over there. So geography becomes the most practical subject if you study accordingly. So that is why most people prefer this. And many of these phenomena are very, very curious. Okay, so what brings monsoon to that particular time? Do you know that monsoon always comes exactly on June 1st? Exactly on June 1st. Okay, so there may be slight delay, 2 days early or 2 days late, 3 days early, 3 days late, not beyond that. Why exactly June 1st? There is a proper explanation for that. Exactly on the day of 21st of June, we have the longest day in the northern hemisphere. Anywhere, whether it is Delhi or Bhopal or London or Paris, anywhere the longest day is experienced on 21st of June only. Okay? And if any place is located between the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn on a particular day, it experiences no shadow day also. Okay, so many such curious things are there if you really want to learn. Okay, that makes it interesting for many of the students. Okay, they take it. And most importantly, this is a subject of methodological study. Okay, so proper methodological way में आप study कर सकते हो. Okay, of course, if it is taught properly, for that matter. Okay. So other than that, the second factor was support. Okay, of course, it's a well-established subject in terms of support. Okay, the content or the book list or the material or the way of preparation. As I told you earlier, people used to prepare for 2 to 3 months and just clear. That time the questions were pretty straightforward. Okay, so there is a very good support for that. That is another reason why people choose this. Contribution in GS. There's a huge contribution in GS. These are the areas in general studies where geography contributes directly. So of course, the subject of geography itself is there directly. Okay, so we have Indian and world geography, physical, social, economic geography of world. Okay, in prelims, in mains, general studies paper 1. So properly, clearly defined, and this carries 100 out of 250. Okay, minimum of 100 out of 250 in paper 1. So let me tell you about prelims. In prelims, this is the area. This year, geography exclusively 23 out of 100 questions. 23 out of 100 questions. In addition to this, there is also area of environment, which is closely related to geography. The knowledge of geography is very much helpful here, and in geography optional, there is a separate unit itself, environmental geography. The idea of environment, subject of environment is totally derived from there only. This carries at least 15 out of 100. मतलब 15 plus 23, 20 भी मान लो, 35 out of 100 is there on your hands. Okay, so सबसे important factor जो prelims में scoring ही होता है. Okay, आप जो भी कर लो, जितना भी पढ़ाई कर लो, prelims नहीं हुआ तो ये सब तो मेहनत ही नहीं है. There is no point of all of this. You prepare geography optional as a optional subject लिया तो ये तो आपका पक्का है. Okay, of course, no need to say those who take geography optional, you don't have to prepare general studies separately. Okay, that is understood. In mains, I told you 100 marks in paper 1, minimum 100 marks, sometimes it has gone up to 110, 115 also. In paper 3, there are few areas. Agriculture, the entire topic of agriculture is related to geography. You will study in Indian geography paper 2, agriculture ka pura unit hai. Okay, so that is related to that. And then there is infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways. There is one more chapter in Indian geography related to transportation itself. Okay, वो भी यहाँ से cover हो जाएगा. And there is again environment, environmental geography, the same topic. And then there is disaster, disaster management, all the physical geography. Okay, so these areas would contribute at least 75 out of 250 here. 75 plus 100, 175 marks out of 1000 you can prepare from geography optional itself. It carries one of the highest weightage compared to any other subject for that matter. Okay? There is not much role of geography in paper 2, of course. It's in both paper 1 and paper 3. This is regarding the contribution in GS. Coming to the whether the scoring or not, this is, as I told you, it's a myth. These are the scores, topper scores of geography optional in the last consecutive years. This year, 323, Deepthi Rohila, rank number 39. Okay, so, and there was one more candidate who has crossed 300 this year. Last year it was 298. Okay, so before last year, 306, 286, 324, 321, 327. 326. You can see consecutively last 8 years ka liya to bhi, it is well proven that geography is actually scoring if you do systematic study. Okay, so if you develop interest in the subject. Of course, there are good number of people who have scored less. Jinka marks aaye hai 230, 240, 250 also. But there is some issue in that which they are not ready to accept. They just think ye optional nahi lena tha. They just blame the option. That is just shifting the blame. They are not ready to identify. Okay, if such kind of people, without identifying your actual mistake, if you are going to other optional, you will repeat the same mistake over there also. First, genuinely understand whether you have interest in the subject or not. If you don't have interest in the subject, of course, you cannot develop the interest, then you move ahead. If you find it interesting and still you are not able to score, there is an issue in the way of preparation. Okay, so whether in terms of value addition or answer writing or conceptual understanding, there is an issue. You have to rectify that. Otherwise, if you have interest, you cannot just blame the subject. It is not fair. Okay, so it is well proven. Scoring has proven, it has removed that myth. It is scoring. So that is why geography is one of the most preferred subject. Is that clear? So let's go into the area little bit inside into geography for those who are new to this subject. Let me just introduce the subject here. Okay, I'm not going to go into details here. There's no point of going into detail here. Okay, so just general idea how to approach this subject as a whole. To understand the overall approach, the first thing you have to know is the syllabus. What exactly you have to study. As I told you, in optional, you have to do a lot of effort and you can score very well. It becomes very important that you do a systematic and thorough study here. ठीक है? whether you know the syllabus of general studies or not thoroughly, वहाँ पर भी पता होना चाहिए, exactly पता होना ही चाहिए. But the first thing you have to remember is your optional syllabus always. Sorry. Optional syllabus is something which you cannot compromise at all. You should know each and every topic given in the optional syllabus. For that to remember, you need to know what are the papers, what are the units. Okay, as usual, there are two papers, paper 1, paper 2. The paper 1 is about the principles of geography. Okay, that is the title of the paper, Principles of Geography. Paper 2 is Indian Geography. This is usually, with respect to any subject for that matter, usually they talk about the general principles, general concepts in paper 1 and they apply to India in paper 2. That is the norm in most of the optionals. Paper 1 is Principles of Geography, paper 2 is Indian Geography. In paper 1, there are two clearly defined parts. Clearly identified parts are there, it is given in the syllabus itself. The first part is Physical Geography, second part is Human Geography. Okay, so I told you in the beginning, physical geography is about the study of physical aspects of the earth. Where you study about the land, where you study about the air atmosphere, about the water hydrosphere, about the soil, environment, all of these factors. That is what is physical geography, the physical aspects. In human geography, you will study related to the economic activity, okay, so population, social angles, settlements, all of this, that is what is human geography. There are 5 units in physical geography, 5 units in human geography. 10 units together in Indian geography. ठीक है? So first let's see the units first. ये तो पता होना चाहिए. Okay, so closing your eyes at any point of time, you should be able to tell the order. The first unit of physical geography, first unit of paper 1 is geomorphology. What is geomorphology? The study of land. The second unit is climatology. Okay, climatology is about the study of atmosphere. Third unit is oceanography, the study of oceans. Fourth is biogeography, the study of soil. Fifth is environmental geography. Okay, 5 aspects of physical geography. Okay, that is paper 1 part A. In fact, even in question paper also, this is separate, this is separate. Okay, question paper, usually you know the question paper pattern of optional. What is the question paper pattern of optional? There will be total of 8 questions, you have to attempt 5. 5 into 50, total 250. You have to compulsorily attend 5 questions. In that, question number 1 and question number 5 is compulsory. Question number 1 and question number 5 is compulsory, there is no choice. In question number 1, there will be usually 5 questions. In question number 5, there will be 5 questions. Okay, so let me show any of the paper itself. Okay, it will be easier then. So where can we find the paper, previous paper? कहाँ पर? हमारा वेबसाइट कौन सा है हमारा वेबसाइट? visionaries.in. तो वो तो हमारा ही है. upsc.gov.in. In this, if you go to the previous question papers, this is civil services examination. In this, we have geography, paper 1, geography, paper 2. So this is 2023 papers. So this is the optional paper 1 question paper. So there are total of 8 questions. You can see it is named as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Total of 8 questions. Okay, of course each question will have subdivisions. Okay, sub questions are there. Question number 1 to 4 is called as section A. Okay, this is section A. Question number 5 to 8 is section B. This is section B. Okay? In section A, first question is compulsory. In section B, also first question is compulsory. That makes question number 1 and question number 5 compulsory. You don't have choice over there. You have to compulsorily attend. If you don't attempt, you are lost that marks. In these, there are 10 marker, 5 10 marker. Okay, total of 50 marks. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. यहाँ पर चॉइस नहीं है, आपको लिखना है, पता नहीं है तो भी तो कुछ तो लिख के आना ही है. There is no other option. 5 also, 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, 5E. Okay, this is compulsory. So question number 1 to 4 is physical geography. Question number 5 to 8 is human geography. That is actual division. But it is not watertight. You can never say physical geography का यहाँ पर नहीं पूछ सकते, human geography का यहाँ पर नहीं पूछ सकते. In an indirect manner, it may be asked. And it is also expected out of you that you should also be able to interlink. It is not a watertight division. Remember that. ठीक है? And many of the times you will see such questions. आपको लगेगा ये कौन सी सेक्शन में डालूं मैं? जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी हो सकता है, एनवायरमेंटल जियोग्राफी भी हो सकता है, या पर्सपेक्टिव्स में भी हो सकता है. ठीक है? So that is the overall pattern. ठीक है? So we'll come back here. So in physical geography, these are the 5 sections. In human geography, there are 5 sections. Let's try to remember this. So number 1 is perspectives in human geography. Perspectives talks about the different philosophies, different ideas, how the geography as a subject was evolved. Okay, which forms the basis of geography optional subject. Perspectives. Economic geography about the economic activities. What are the economic activities? Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. Resource extraction, mining से लेके. Okay, so you will study about all the resources. Okay, I'll show the detailed syllabus also. I'm just giving you overview. Economic geography. Okay, so mining से लेके agriculture, industries, transportation, all of this comes in economic geography. And here we are studying from the general perspective. This world's perspective. Population and settlement geography. Population is about the study of population, the density of population, distribution of population. Okay, so demography, demographic transition, as well as the settlement. Settlement talks about the way human beings live, work, function, the way they are settled. That is what is settlement geography. Okay, rural settlement, urban settlement, the pattern of settlement, all of this. Regional planning, the study of regions in detail. Okay, there are few more things which you have to learn in from the principles point of view. That is regional planning. And then comes the last, models, theories and laws. There are well-defined models and theories. From Weber's models to Van Thunen, okay, so laws, ऐसे बहुत सारा theories है, models है, which gives you idea regarding the human geography, which is applicable not only for human geography, even for physical geography also. All these models and theories you will study here. Okay, this is 5 units in paper 1 part B. Okay, कौन सा? कोशिश करो याद रखने के लिए, ये बहुत जरूरी है. Number 1 is perspectives. You can just say perspectives in human geography. Number 2 is economic geography. Number 3 is population and settlement. Number 4 is regional planning. Number 5 is models and theories. Paper 2 Indian geography starts with the physical setting. Here also, if you notice, the physical setting of India talks about the physical geography of the world applied to India. Okay, from here we source this entire study. The physical setting talks about the land of India, climatic conditions of India, okay, so soils of India, water, the rivers, drainage system, as well as the overall environmental issues also. That is what is physical setting. Resources, agriculture, industry, transportation, these 4 units are sourced from economic geography. Resources of India, different types of natural resources. Agriculture is an economic activity, industry is an economic activity, transportation, communication, trade is economic activity. So I told you general studies paper 3, agriculture, general studies paper 3. Okay? सो ये यहां से लेके आ गया, 5 यूनिट्स हो गया. Cultural setting and settlement is basically from here. In population, you would have studied in general about the world. Here, you talk about India's population, India's tribal, their culture, their overall, the background social aspects. That is what is cultural setting. Okay, settlements, India settlement. Okay, so यहाँ पर general settlement था. This is Indian settlement. Regional development and planning, as it is taken from the world's regional planning. Okay, so regional planning at the world level, here you will study at the India level, specifically about the different programs which we have initiated. Political aspects and contemporary issues, something which is related to current affairs, current aspects of geography in the context of India. Okay, so when you say political aspects, we don't talk too much about the theories and models. We try to bring the contemporary political aspects. Okay, so this becomes a theoretical background. This is the contemporary India के लिए जो political aspects है, India and its neighborhood, all of this, and then comes contemporary issues related to geography. These are the topics which in general studies which we study more in detail. The geophysical phenomena, the climate change, the melting of glaciers, environmental issues, land degradation, deforestation, all of these issues we'll study in detail here. In fact, this is going to be very much helpful for your environment also, environment disaster management also. So total 10. Okay, can you tell me the order of this without seeing? Number 1, physical setting. Number 2, resources. Number 3, agriculture. Number 4, industries. Number 5, transportation, trade and communication. Number 6, cultural setting. Number 7, settlement. Number 8, regional planning in India. Number 9, political geography of India. Number 10, syllabus हो गया आपका. ये तो शुरुआत है. You have to go in detail and remember each and every topic given in the syllabus. Whether you have the syllabus of general studies on your wall or not, you should have the syllabus of geography on your wall. Okay, in front of your study table itself. You have to know the exact topics as it is given. That you can take from the notification itself. Okay, this is as it is, I have taken from the notification. This is paper 1, part A. Paper 1, part A, you can see geomorphology. The overall name of the paper is Principles of Geography. In that part A, physical geography, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography, environmental geography. In geomorphology, you will study about the land. Okay, let me give you a few hints about this entire unit. You will study about the different physical features, the land. Okay, so let's say talking about the Earth's origin and evolution, the Earth's interior, endogenetic, exogenetic forces. Okay, so geomagnetism, plate tectonics, continental drift, isostasy, earthquake, tsunami, volcanism, little bit more in detail. Of course, you would have studied this as a part of your general studies also. Is that right? Now we'll go into little bit more detail here. Geomorphic cycles, landscape development, erosion surface, channel morphology, denudation chronology, geomorphology, economic geology, slope development. Going in little bit more detail. Okay, basically geomorphology is about understanding the nature of land surface and their overall interior. This becomes our foundation. सबसे basic level में हम यहीं से शुरू करना है. We have to start from here only. The foundation of geography is geomorphology. The foundation of geomorphology comes from plate tectonics. To understand the actual nature of the land. Plate tectonics owes its origin to continental drift. And everything else is surrounding that, either from the interior or from outside. Okay, from outside you talk about all of these: erosional surface, channel morphology, denudation, chronology, all of this from outside. How erosion, weathering, and all these physical factors are creating changes on the land surface. From inside, इसके पहले वाला topics. Okay, interior, origin and evolution, geomagnetism, okay, geosyncline, so mountain building, earthquake, tsunami, all of these from the interior. Can you see that is what is geomorphology? So climatology, the study of atmosphere. Okay, so here major part you would have studied as part of your general studies. What all you have studied under general studies? देखो, temperature and pressure belts, heat budget, stability, instability of atmosphere, planetary winds, local winds, monsoon, jet stream, air masses, temperate tropical cyclone, okay, precipitation, weather and front. तो यहाँ तक हो गया general studies. तो अभी आएगा और थोड़ा सा optional वाला part. The classification of climatic conditions, Köppen's classification, Thornthwaite, Trivarta. Okay, and it goes into a little bit about hydrological cycle, global climate change, applied climatology, urban climate, little bit more in detail. This is more of contemporary. Okay, so more current events are applied here. Even in optional also, as well as general studies, climatology carries higher weightage than geomorphology. Of course, geomorphology is also the most basic, most fundamental, but climatology is more conceptual. Okay, this year in GS, 6 out of 20 questions from climatology. Optional, paper 1, part A, maximum questions from climatology only. Okay, there were 2023, there were only 2 to 3 questions from geomorphology. Okay, so 5 to 6 questions from climatology. Most important part, climatology. Oceanography. You would have studied about oceanography even in your general studies. What are the things you would have studied? Temperature and salinity of oceans, oceanic deposits, waves, currents and tides, and coral reefs. ये तो पढ़ा होगा आप लोगों ने. Here you will study a little bit more in detail regarding the bottom topography of specific oceans. This is one of the most direct questions you will see. कभी कभी ऐसे डायरेक्टली उठा के डालते हैं पेपर में. Explain the bottom topography of Pacific Ocean. I'm talking in optional. Explain the bottom topography of Indian Ocean. Bottom topography of Atlantic Ocean. Okay, so salt budget and heat budget of ocean. You would have studied about heat budget of atmosphere here. Here you will study about the oceans. Okay, and then it specifically talks about marine resources. Last year there was a question on marine resources. Okay, so on the impact of pollution on that. Sea level changes, law of seas, marine pollution, and different source resources derived from the oceans. If you observe one thing, the syllabus which is mentioned here is not complete. This is an indicative syllabus. Many of the topics which you in fact study as part of general studies also is not mentioned here. Oceanic currents diya hai idhar. Oceanic circulations, it is understood. Like that there are many understood topics are there. How will you identify them? By going through previous year's questions, PYQs. There are many gaps which you have to fill here. Okay, it is indicative. Biogeography is study of soil. You will not study much in GS. You will study more in optional. Okay, in general studies you would have studied about the type of soil, soil profile, and factors influencing the soil formation, that is soil genesis. Not more than that. In optional you will go a little bit more in detail. The classification of soil is something which you have to study. Okay, soil erosion, soil degradation, and deforestation, social forestry, agroforestry, wildlife, all of this as part of biogeography. Environmental geography you will study separately in your environment, general studies environment, but in optional this is a little bit more in detail, and this is part of principles. Okay, this is little bit different from the general studies environment. Of course, this forms the background. Every environmental issue, every environmental aspect, it will come here, but more from the principles point of view. There is current orientation also here, of course, but from the background of principles. Okay, let's see the concepts here. Principles of ecology, human ecological adaptations, influence on the ecology, and influence of man on ecology and environment, ecosystem management, conservation, environmental degradation. Okay, all different types of pollution, biodiversity and sustainable development, environmental policy, environmental hazards. Environmental hazards includes disasters, various different types of disasters, and the measures taken, as well as environmental legislations. इतना छोटा एरिया में ऐसे करके दे दिया, ये तो बहुत बड़ा सा सब्जेक्ट है एनवायरनमेंट, आप लोगों ने पढ़ा ही होगा. That makes it this area little bit unpredictable. Out of this paper 1 part A, these 4 area are more predictable. If at all, if you ask me, question number 2, 3, 4, you have to choose and write, right? Choice करके लिखना है. I would always suggest go with either geomorphology or climatology or oceanography. You can write very good answers here. Well established है, अच्छे से पढ़ के आया है, जो पढ़ के आए हैं वही लिखोगे. इसको चूज करके लिखना थोड़ा सा करेज चाहिए. So it depends upon, again, it depends upon the question, depends upon your preparation. But if this comes in your compulsory question, you have no other option. Usually एक दो तो रहता है, तो लिखना ही है. This is paper 1 part A. Paper 1 part B, 5 units. By now you remember the units. Perspectives, economic, population settlement, regional planning, and models and theories. What is this perspectives? In these 5 units, maximum you would have studied about economic geography in your general studies. Rest you would not have studied. So that is why human geography is something which is less prepared by most of the optional candidates. थोड़ा सा कम prepare करता है इसमें. In fact, there are not many good sources also here. This is where we have to give more focus. Our strong area is always physical geography. हमारा strength वही रहेगा. Okay, but make sure that this doesn't become your weakness. You have to give sufficient coverage here also. Okay. Perspectives in human geography talks about the basic principles, basic ideas behind geography. Okay, so for example, you must have heard about the behavioralism, humanism, welfare approach, different approaches in which we study geography, different approaches in which we connect ourselves with the surrounding environment as well as with the greater surrounding, the universe. All these different perspectives. It becomes more of philosophical. Determinism, environmentalism, okay, so dichotomy, dualism, quantitative revolution, all of these are the different ways in which the geography as a subject has evolved. There you will go into those perspectives. The philosophical background one has to know here. Okay, so you have to be very careful while studying this area, because if you don't give too much of attention, it goes beyond your head. Okay, so ऐसा लगता है कि सुना है, समझ नहीं आया. Or you will dwell into too much in detail. You will lose the UPSC track. You have to maintain that balance. Okay, so here making proper notes will be of help for you. Okay, so for your mains. Economic geography is again objective in nature. Whatever we know about economic geography. See, the world economic development. Okay, so resources, energy, limits to growth theory, agriculture, typology of the world. Okay, so agriculture inputs and productivity, food and nutrition problem, food security, famine causes, industries, world industries. So basically world industries, world resources, specifically rotating around the agriculture and other basic aspects. We don't go into too details of transportation, industrial development, okay, different industries across the world, वो नहीं पढ़ेंगे हम. This talks about the general perspective of the world economy, okay, economic geography. Here you can expect current affairs related questions also. Third one, population and settlement. Okay, two different areas. You can clearly see this is related to population, this is related to settlement. Population में क्या पढ़ते हैं हम? World population, demographic attributes, okay, migration, and population theories. Have you heard of Malthus theory, demographic transition theory? Okay, which talks about how the population of a different countries varies. Okay, so let me give you a simple example. So this year UPSC prelims there was a question. Which of the following countries have seen a very low birth rate and death rate because of which their aging population has increased? If you know the basic theory of population, you will be able to easily answer this question. There is an idea called as demographic transition theory. Okay, so what is this demographic transition theory? Demographic transition theory tries to plot the change in the demography of a particular country according to the birth rate and death rate. If this is death rate and this is birth rate, population is always depend upon these two factors. Wherever there is a high birth rate and high death rate, जहां पर ज्यादा लोग भी मरते जा रहे हैं, ज्यादा बच्चे भी पैदा हो रहे हैं, this is usually the tendency. Wherever there are high death rate, people tend to reproduce more, क्योंकि survival rates कम होगा ना. You must have heard from your grandparents and their parents, they used to have 7-8 children. Why? Number of survival was less. Wherever there is a high death rate, there is also high birth rate. Because of both factors, the population is stable and stagnant. Population will not increase here. Death rate bhi zyada hai, birth rate bhi zyada hai. But as the country advances, as the economic progress happens in any country, okay, so first thing any country would develop is their medical facilities. Okay, so यहाँ पर example लेते हैं. Let's take different examples here. So here the example would be any country of sub-Saharan Africa or India before independence, where the overall development was very, very low, because of which the overall population was also very low, because there were good number of deaths, high deaths were there. Health facilities were very minimal. Okay, so rarely you would have heard about people having the birth in hospital. Usually they will have birth in their home, because of which there would be higher death, higher maternal mortality rate also. That is a very low developed country. But as the country shifts their economic development, first thing they develop is their health facility, death rate will decrease. But birth rate is still high only, because people take longer time to realize and understand, ठीक है, there is no need to reproduce at higher rate. Okay, वो population stable होने में time लगेगा. And because of the low death rate and high birth rate, population will tend to increase rapidly here. Okay, from here the population starts to rise rapidly here. क्या होगा? Whenever the death rate is low, birth rate is high, population explosion happens. That is what happened in India. After independence from 1950 to 1970 तक जो stage है ना, population was rapidly increasing. Then people will realize that there is no need to have this high number of birth rate. The birth rate will start to decline. You need social change. You need the changes from the government's policies. Okay, initially the government policy was also like 3 children, then it became 2 children, then 1 children. Okay, then there is a social pressure, the birth rate will start to decline. That is when the population starts to become stable. By this stage, a country would have also progressed. This is the developing stage. After 1980 till present is India. Okay, it is in this stage. But after this, if you see, birth rate is also low, death rate is also low. What happens to the total population? It becomes stable. Okay, population has become stable, low birth rate, low death rate. But what if the population, what if the birth rate becomes very, very low and death rate is also low? Birth rate becomes so low, इतना कम हो जाएगा, ये death rate से भी और नीचे जा रहा है. In that case, the population will start to decline. In the end, old age people will start to live longer. However, over a period of time, the population will start to decline. The economic development can be easily correlated to the population structure of any country. Most of the developed countries are either here or here. Japan is here. Scandinavian countries are here. They have very low birth rate and very low death rate. They have a stagnant population. They are not at all increasing. Rather, there is a threat of decline. India is here, somewhere in between here. Based on the census, we'll get to know. This is what is demographic transition theory. See, all of these theories very much necessary to interlink them with what we study. Okay, so when you start to see these things in reality, that is how you find the subject interesting as well as easy. Okay, coming back to the analysis of the syllabus. Okay, so all of this you will study here and then come to the settlement. We have rural settlement, urban settlement. Okay, so hierarchy, urban morphology, the concepts, few important concepts which are relevant to India also, primate city, rank size rule. Okay, these are the basic theories regarding how the urbanization would happen. Okay, so the idea of satellite town, urban influence, urban rural fringe. Okay, so all of these are the concepts related to the settlement geography. Then regional planning. The concept of region, regionalization, the growth pole theory, regional development strategies, regional planning. What is region? Region क्या होता है? Specific area of homogeneous conditions. It can be climatic regions. Yes, if the conditions of climate is homogeneous. Right? It is not necessary that it has to be always climatic regions. A region is any such homogeneous conditions existing in a larger area. Okay, so regional planning is the planning for the regional development. Okay, so best example is our 5-year plans. Okay, so hilly area development, island area development. Okay, that we'll study in the context of India. In general context of the world, you have to study about this regional planning. Okay, so for the overall regional development, and regional geography is more specific about studying the regions in detail. Okay, coming to the last part, models and theories. Here we have the very famous models. If you ask me, this is the most important part of paper 1, part B. Part B का सबसे important part ये है, and this you will use it not only in part A as well as in paper 2. There are certain well-established theories and models. What is the significance of these theories and models? It will actually bring scientific methodology to the subject of geography. Otherwise, geography is a very vast area, very generic area. It tries to make some methodological study, bring some methodological study into the area of geography. Geography को scientific बनाता ही ये सारा models and theories. Okay, so best example is distribution of agriculture regions. Okay, so I'll give you a simple logic. We have different types of agriculture crops, okay, agriculture regions. Some area grow rice, some area grow fruits and vegetables. Okay, some areas grow floriculture, in some areas there is dairy. Considering from the city's perspective, from the market's perspective, market is where there is city. City के अंदर ही होता है market usually. In which area you find the agriculture practices more orient to the growing of fruits and vegetables? Whether the area which is nearby to the city or away from the city. Why? Transportation is easier and it is a perishable goods and short growing. It is short growing crops and higher demand inside the market. You can transport this overnight through trucks. You don't have to grow rice nearby because the cost of the land is higher near to the city, right? City के पास में तो land is very costly. Rent is higher. If somebody is growing rice here, there is not much of benefit. You can grow rice in the far away region and transport it. Rice तो खराब नहीं होगा. It is non-perishable. A person who is near to the city, if he tries to grow rice here, his cost of input is higher. Is that right? You have to pay higher cost of land. A person who is growing rice very far away from the city will produce rice at a cheaper rate. The cost of production is low over there. Of course, you may say transportation cost hoga, but land cost is much higher near to the city that it will not compensate the transportation cost. It's always better to grow rice in the far away regions and fruits and vegetables near to the city. है ना? The agriculture regions. It is very well established in Vontonen's agriculture location. Most commonly asked question in UPSC. If you analyze last 7 years, आपको 2-3 बार मिल जाएगा Vontonen's model. Very scientifically tries to explain. Okay, one such theory is what I just explained, the demographic transition theory. These theories and models try to bring the subject overall subjectiveness in the study into tries to make it into objective, tries to bring a scientific nature into the area of geography. This becomes very very important and very scoring in paper 1 part B. एक क्वेश्चन तो आपको अटेम्प्ट करना ही है ना. Out of 6, 7, 8 you have to choose one question, right? So it's better to choose from here or from economic geography, or if it is favorable in other areas. This is paper 1. So coming to paper 2. Paper 2 physical setting is very much well established. The physical geography of India. You would have studied about physical geography of India in your general studies also. So what are the areas? The structure and relief, drainage system, physiographic regions, monsoon, rainfall, tropical cyclone, western disturbance, flood, drought, climatic regions, natural vegetation, soil types, all of this. The physical geography of India. Very well clearly established here. Okay, so here there is not much of issue at all. In fact, it is always better to choose this area if at all you have to choose. Second is India's resources. Different types of resources: land resources, water resources, energy resource, mineral resource, biotic and marine resource, forest resource, wildlife resource. You have studied little bit of this in the paper 1 part B economic geography. वहाँ पर भी resource पढ़ा होगा. There you would have studied from the world perspective. Here you will study from the India's perspective. Third, agriculture of India. Totally पूरा detail में पढ़ोगे agriculture of India, which is going to be helpful for your paper 3 agriculture also. Okay, here there are certain special, certain general topics are also there, certain little bit detailed topics are also there. General topics क्या है? Cropping pattern, in which area you find which kind of crops. Okay, agriculture intensity, green revolution, okay, white revolution, and land reforms. All of these are belonging to general study subject. Rest everything is specially you have to study. Okay, institutional factors, land capability, agroforestry, social forestry, dry land farming, livestock resources, aquaculture, agroclimatic zones, all of this. That is agriculture. Then comes industry. Industries are one of the very scoring areas and the structure is well established. Every industry depends mainly on the locational factors. What are the locational factors? Raw material, labor, power, capital, infrastructure, transportation, government policy. Like this well established factors are there. You apply every industry into these factors, you will get a proper well developed structure. That makes this area scoring. But you need a structural study here. Thorough study चाहिए तब भी ये scoring होगा. Easily handle कर सकते हो. One of the important scoring areas. Transportation, communication, trade, it overlaps with the paper 3, same infrastructure. Okay, we have roadways, railways, waterways, airways, and importance of ports, trade policy, export, processing zones, communication and information technology, Indian space program. This is more related to current affairs. Okay? So this will be helpful anyway for your general studies also. A little bit more in detail you have to study. Cultural setting, unit number 6, talks about the cultural setting of India. Okay, so it talks about historical perspective of Indian society, racial, linguistic and ethnic diversities, major tribes of India. Okay, about the tribal regions and their problems in detail. And then the various different cultural regions, demographic attributes of India. Okay, population of India, overall demographic studies you will do it here. There we studied the demographic population in general manner. Here it is going to be specific manner. Okay, so there that was single unit. Population and settlement single unit था ना? कहाँ पर? Paper 1 part B. Here 2 different units. Settlement is separate. Indian settlements are different. Rural settlement, urban settlement, functional classification of Indian cities. Okay, so metropolitan areas, urban sprawl, slums and all. So this is again related to current affairs. You will study from theoretical aspect also, but more closely related to current affairs. In this part, you will study about the census. Okay, so census के बारे में पढ़ोगे. Regional development and regional planning. So there it was regional planning. Okay, so you talk about mainly the planning in India, 5-year plans. Okay, now 5-year plans are outdated. Okay, but still you have to study historically how it was implemented. I mean, the Panchayat Raj system, decentralized planning, command area development, watershed management, planning for backward area, desert and drought prone. Different areas, different regions, how it is planned, how it is developed in India. The approach of planning. Because the planning and regional planning is more associated with the region than planning actually. Okay, otherwise this would have been part of public administration. Why it is part of geography? Because it is more associated with the region. It has to vary from one region to another. Political aspect is totally related to the overall, the political setup of India. Okay, so the international boundary of India and their related issues, cross-border terrorism, India's role in world affairs, geopolitics of South Asia and Indian Ocean realm. This is again more related to current affairs. Okay, in the current context only you can expect the question. Okay, this we will link it with the international relations of paper 2. Okay, IR of paper 2. And contemporary issues are more related to environment. This is also related to current affairs. Okay, you can see in ecological issues, environmental hazard, landslide, earthquake, tsunami, flood, drought, epidemics. All of these are specifically mentioned in general studies geography part. Okay, geophysical phenomena. Okay, changes in the pattern of land use, principles of environmental impact assessment. One important topic which is mentioned in environment general studies. Okay, environmental management, population explosion, food security, environmental degradation, deforestation, desertification. Regional disparities, concept of sustainable growth and development, environmental awareness, linkage of rivers, globalization and Indian economy. Totally related to current affairs here. There is no static part here as such. ये हो गया हमारा geography. This geography syllabus you have to know topic by topic. Even in the areas of current affairs, I have identified few areas of current affairs. ये unit पूरा current related ही है. Even in then also you have to remember the topic by topic syllabus. Then only you will be able to identify if you read something from the current affairs. Okay, ये उस topic उस unit में वहाँ पर दिया है. Okay, so best suggestion for you, make a detailed syllabus. Just copy paste this from the notification. Under each heading, divide into different bullet points. Okay, so use 2 different colors. The one by default, the black color as given in the syllabus. In addition to, based on the previous year's questions, you have to fill some more topics. Okay, the gaps you have to fill here. As I told you, there will be few topics which are not specifically mentioned, but you have to study. Okay, those gaps you have to fill and make it an extensive syllabus, bullet wise, and just put it on the wall. See it on daily basis. I'm not asking you to remember this all together in one day. Daily see it. Okay, in a matter of 15 days or a month, you will be totally thorough. Okay, then only your optional is in your hand. Okay, so preparation will become more integrated and focused. So for many people, they would have completed optional and they still don't know about the exact topics which are present here. This should not happen. Okay, so it has to be a very focused study. No. I told you that it is very important to fill the gaps, and to fill the gaps, the previous year's questions come very handy. So you would have studied about the previous year's questions and their importance in general studies. What is their role in optional subject? Do they have any importance? They have a greater importance in optional. In general studies, it just gives you a guideline. In optional, it gives you a detailed path. General studies, it will just throw some light. The previous year's questions will just throw some light किस रास्ते में जाना है. In optional, these PYQs will hold your hand and will take you. If you follow the PYQs thoroughly. One must See all the previous year's questions thoroughly, at least 10 years. At least 10 years. And if you want to excel in optional, go for 25 years. 25 years तक जो करता है PYQ उनका तो थोरो होगा. And if you see 25 years, and you have to, ऐसा नहीं है कि just पढ़ोगे. Okay, I'll show how to do this. You have to do a proper analysis. You take the question paper and divide them into different sections. You have total of 20 sections. Okay, just start with the latest 2023 से शुरू करो. I can share this, but it is not of much use. Do it by yourself. You will see the question closely. You will get more closely attached to these questions, these areas, and segregate them according to the areas. You take every question paper. In every question paper, how many questions will be there? 5 in number 1, 5 in number 5. Total 10 questions. Okay? And total 6 more questions. 6 into 3. 18 questions. Total of 28 questions in paper 1. You will get 28 questions. Take each question and put them into different headings. You have 10 sections to be filled. Okay, so put it in a broader heading. Subset closer. Of course, many of the times it overlaps. Put it into broader heading. Paper 2 is little bit different. I forgot to tell you this. Paper 2 मैंने नहीं दिखाया. Okay, so paper 2, how is it paper 2? In paper 2 section A, there is one specific area which is different from paper 1. Okay, question number 1, there also 50 marks compulsory, there is no choice over there, but in that you will not have 5 questions, you will have only 4 questions. Paper 2 section A. Section A, question number 1. Paper 2, Indian Geography, paper 2, section A, question number 1 is alone for 20 marks. For 20 marks, they would have given you total of 10 locations. You have to mark these 10 locations on a map and write its significance. This is a compulsory thing in Indian Geography. In fact, there was such kind of question in World Geography also long back. They removed that. Okay, पहले World Geography में भी था, World Geography हटा दिया, खाली India Geography रखा है अभी. Okay, this is one thing which is compulsory. You have to do mapping thoroughly. Okay? Other than this, again you see B, C, D, 10 each, plus 20, 50 हो गया. And rest, everything's the same. Okay, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, 3C, 4A, 4B, 4C. These are choice you have. And again section B, you have A, B, C, D, E, compulsory. And then 6 ABC, 7 ABC, 8 ABC. So like this, in each question paper, just read the question and put it into Excel sheet or anything else. जैसे Word पे करना है तो भी ठीक है. अगर लिख के भी करना है तो और बढ़िया, दिमाग में बैठेगा. ठीक है? So segregate this into previous papers. Like this, you can do it for every year. हर साल कर सकते हो. कोशिश करो 25 years तक करने के लिए. आपका ज्योग्राफी ऑप्शनल सेट हो जाएगा. With this, many advantages. As I told you, if you do this kind of analysis of previous papers, it will hold your hand and it will take you. The first thing is the different sections. You will understand the weightage of each and every sections. Which section is more important, which section is less important. है ना? In which section you have to give more time. All of this you will understand this. ठीक है? You will understand the nature of questions. Nature of questions, it can be conceptual or it can be current related, it can be factual information. While explaining the syllabus, I told you about this. Some areas you can clearly see there are current related. Okay, I told you current related. You can clearly see that from the previous papers. In some areas, total conceptual questions are there where it is expected for you to know the exact principles, exact models. You can clearly identify the nature of the questions. Okay, some of them are totally static type, some of them are application oriented. ये भी समझ आएगा. Okay, so the difference you can identify clearly between geomorphology and oceanography. Okay, so physical geography and human geography. That nature you will get to know by going through previous year's questions in more detailed manner. Okay, it is very much helpful for you in that. Understanding the nature of the question. Change in the pattern, shift in the pattern. This is also very important to see. Whether the question paper is too static or too oriented on the conventional aspect, or is it going towards more application oriented. You can ask application oriented question even in physical geography also. That is possible. Right? Application oriented in reality. Or whether it is asking for interlinking of different subjects. I told you, physical geography, human geography is not watertight. You have to link physical geography with human, human with physical geography. And both with Indian geography. While talking about Indian geography, you have to bring what you have learned in paper 1. Indian agriculture, you should be able to explain using the models. Okay, so Indian urbanization, you should be able to explain using the models. Okay, Indian industry, you should be able to bring the models. Weber's theory. That connection is very much important. If you see the questions, you can clearly understand the nature of questions and the shift in the pattern. Smart prediction of topics is one thing which you can do very easily. I told you 25 years of question, you segregate them into different areas. You will identify so many topics. आपका आधा preparation वहीं पे खत्म हो जाएगा. Okay, so half of the preparation will be done over there. And when you identify a topic, you will not just identify that particular topic. You will try to see in the peripheral areas. Right? If at all there is a question on isostasy, you will try to see what was said in continental drift, what was explained in plate tectonics. You will try to see the peripheral areas, right? Surrounding areas. That is how you have to see. That is smart prediction of topics. And also you will understand the depth of study. In some of the areas you have to go a little bit more detail. In some of the areas it is not required. Okay, you will understand to what extent you have to study in detail. Okay, so using PYQs, you can clearly orient your entire preparation. So how to approach the geography optional subject. Okay, so I tell the same thing for general studies also. It becomes more relevant in optional actually. Okay, so let's say somebody has decided to take geography, interesting लग गया तो अच्छा लग गया तो शुरुआत करने के बाद में मुश्किल लग रहा है. होता है कुछ लोगों के पास में, कुछ लोगों के साथ में. They will start to feel difficulty. Why? They are not doing a systematic study of the subject. Okay, so logical study of the subject. Just after starting, what they will do, they will just pick up the atlas and they will start to remember the locations. They will start to mug up the information. Stop doing that. Always start with the basics. Optional geography is best prepared if you study the geography from general studies perspective. If you know the general studies geography, then you can go little bit ahead. जनरल स्टडीज में बहुत बेसिक से शुरू करते हैं. व्हाट इज लैटिट्यूड, व्हाट इज लॉन्गिट्यूड, व्हाट आर सीजन्स. इफ दीज थिंग्स आर क्लियर, इट इज वेरी इजी टू मूव अहेड. ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स. एनी एरिया, ऑलवेज स्टार्ट विद द बेसिक्स. You may not find those topics in the syllabus, but still if you think that this is going to be relevant to understand the topics which are given in the syllabus, go with that. That is why we suggest read NCERTs first, even for optional. For geography optional also, read NCERTs first. That is a basic level of preparation. Of course, it is not optional preparation. Basic level of preparation, only after that you will start with the optional preparation. And as a subject of geography, I want to tell you, please give more focus on understanding the concepts. Conceptual understanding is very, very important. If you don't do this, you will find the subject to be very difficult or very boring or very factual. That connectivity is important here. Okay, of course, initially you will study in separation, in compartments आप पढ़ोगे. ठीक है, geomorphology, climatology, oceanography. But once this basic study is complete, once you start the revision, you should be able to integrate them. Geography is a integrative science. Okay, you should be able to integrate all the different things. I told you, physicals को human से लेके आने, human and physical को Indian geography में लेके आने. You need to bring that connection. For that, start with the basics. Develop a conceptual clarity. There are so many concepts. You go to any part of geography, you will always find some concept. You should have that interest. Then only you will be able to identify that. Develop that conceptual clarity. That conceptual clarity comes with visualization. In geography, you have that advantage of visualization. Okay, so it is not some theoretical subject. बैठ के तो articles पढ़ो या ऐसे information पढ़ते रहो. You can visualize this through maps, through figures, through videos, animations. Okay, so if you are able to visualize it, it becomes very easy for you. It is not a task. Once you develop this conceptual clarity, apply in the real world, apply the practicality. You have studied about monsoon, try to understand monsoon. Why monsoon comes on June 1st only? Why, if there is a delay, what are the factors responsible for the delay? Okay, so towards Delhi, monsoon comes late and leaves early. Kerala, monsoon comes first, goes last. Okay, it's like examination hall. Kerala is sitting in the first bench, first row. पेपर यहाँ से डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन होना शुरू होता है, वापस कलेक्शन भी वहाँ से होके आता है. ओके, सो पीछे से शुरू होके आता है, तो केरला के लिए ज़्यादा टाइम मिलेगा ना. तो मानसून इज लाइक दैट. द लेंथ ऑफ द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ मानसून इज लॉन्गर इन केरला. स्टार्ट फ्रॉम जुलाई 1st, एंड्स इन अक्टूबर एंड. सो दिल्ली आएगा जुलाई 15th. ओके, अगस्त एंड खत्म. Okay, so that correlation with the real world is very much important. ठीक है, so then you try to remember the facts and information. इतना बताते समय मैंने कितने बार बता दिया, June 1st, अभी तो याद होगा, है ना? That is how you remember the facts, through concepts. Okay, so you give importance to the concepts, other facts तो ऐसे ही revise हो जाएगा, ऐसे ही याद हो जाएगा. And diagrams and maps becomes must. In fact, map we don't draw map to the scale. Okay, so we should not call this as technically map. Everything is diagram and figure only. Okay, in geography, diagram of map we can say. Every subject has a language, a specific language in which you express that. The language of geography is diagrams and maps. It makes the presentation better. Okay, so you explain same thing in 100 words. In the place of it, you give me a simple diagram and a brief description. That would be sufficient. What you explain in 100 words can be explained using a simple diagram and 20 words. That is, in fact, more effective. Okay, you would have heard this. In every answer, you can write a diagram and figure. Okay, of course you can write. While writing answer, you have to be sure that it fits in. That is also important. Okay, but if you practice, if you can fit it, you can really do that. It's always better if you draw figures and maps and connect with current affairs. Okay, so I told you in Indian geography, half of the topics are current related. Human geography also, some topics are current related. What about physical geography? It is static part, but still you have to bring the current connection. If there is a topic on volcanism, try to bring the recent activities of volcanism across the world. If there is earthquake, try to bring the introduction, the earthquake activities. Always bring current context. That makes your answer more relevant. That shows that you are capable of interconnecting. Okay, so and bring any of the subject which you have studied into the present reality. Relevance, you bring the current relevance. That is what they see in UPSC. Okay, so this kind of integrated study is must. Integrated approach is must. In addition to this, there are a few more aspects. The interconnection of geography with other subjects is also there. ये तो बेसिक प्रिपरेशन है. बेसिक प्रिपरेशन कैसे करना है मैंने एक लेवल पे बता दिया. योर प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट्स एंड गोज लाइक दिस. एट द फर्स्ट लेवल You start with the basic, develop a conceptual clarity, apply in the real world each subject, each concept. Okay, so and you will try to remember the facts and information associated. ये भी important है, examples में लिखना है, तब भी value मिलेगा. And you will also express using the diagrams and figures and add the current context. This is the basic level of preparation. Okay, so this one you will do at the first level. There are 3 levels of preparation in geography. Always remember this, there are 3 levels of preparation in geography optional. First level is this. This is the basic level. A candidate who is appearing for UPSC and has chosen geography optional will do this exercise for every unit given in the syllabus. 20 units are there, you will cover 20 units like this. The second level of preparation comes with revision. This revision doesn't happen once you complete the first level. Revision goes parallelly. Okay, let's say you have covered geomorphology. Geomorphology, all the topics are covered, and you have started with climatology. But as the climatology goes on, you have to start with the revision of geomorphology parallelly. बीच में time निकाल के उसको भी revision करना है. Second level goes parallelly. During the revision, you try to integrate with the other areas. Geography now gets integrated with other subjects. What are the other subjects which are related to geography? Economics and society and environment. 3 areas. Sometimes you see very contemporary related questions. And answers also becomes monotonous if you don't interrelate with them. जब revise करते समय try to see some of the economic aspects, some of the social aspects, some of the environmental aspects. That integration comes with the revision. And parallelly you will do answer writing practice. Okay, let's say geomorphology is done. क्लास में क्लाइमेटोलॉजी चल रहा है, तो अपने हिसाब से जो जियोमॉर्फोलॉजी जैसे जैसे रिवीजन करते जाओगे, यू विल टेक आउट द प्रीवियस क्वेश्चंस एंड प्रैक्टिस राइटिंग आंसर. यू विल टेक आउट सम असाइनमेंट क्वेश्चन एंड प्रैक्टिस राइटिंग आंसर. Answer writing and revision will go parallelly. If you wait for the entire subject to be complete, you will forget most of the things. Okay, so preparation in the class goes on parallelly. You have to do your revision also. The third level comes once your optional classes are done. That is comprehensive revision. Once the entire subject is done, then you will be able to see the subject in whole. Okay, पूरा आप मिला के देख पाओगे तब. Then you will write the mock tests. Of course, here also once you finish the sectional test, you can sections, you can start with the sectional test. But here the mock test becomes very, very important. Okay, you will have test series, right? तो test series में भी जब आप join करोगे तो आपको वो पूरा section wise फिर full length भी आएगा. You will try to cover the entire syllabus altogether. Once these 2 parts are done, the third part will come. Usually, if you ask me the timeline अगर पूछा तो अभी June है, July to December, 6 months of time is there. During this, you should complete the first and second stage. Preparation of each and every unit. Okay, so while doing this, you have to remember this. And parallelly you will do the revision and keep the entire subject ready by the end of December. Preparation भी हो गया, revise भी हो गया, थोड़ा बहुत answer writing practice भी हो गया. Your optional is ready. From January start with your prelims preparation. Exclusive prelims preparation, no need to see any optional at all. ठीक है, January, February, March, April, May 25 prelims is done. Take 5 days gap if you want. Start from June 1st. You will pick up the optional again. That is the third stage. You will write the test in a comprehensive manner in the exam environment. You will start the revision, third revision. उसके साथ में third revision, fourth revision, fifth revision, वो जितना होगा होगा. जितने बार टेस्ट लिखोगे, जितने बार फुल लेंथ लगाओगे, तो उतना तो रिविजन हो जाएगा आपका. Come again? The next mains would be August 3rd week. You will approximately have 3 months of time or less. Okay? During this part, interlinking becomes more relevant and current updation becomes more relevant. Let me just give you one example. This was last year's, sorry, not last year's, 2021's question. The concept of plate tectonic has been derived from isostasy and continental drift theory. Elaborate citing suitable example. These kind of questions you will be able to answer during your third level of preparation or after the end of second level of preparation. Because while studying, you will have studied about isostasy separately, continental drift separately, plate tectonic separately. Only when you do complete revision of the entire unit and try to integrate and try to see things as a whole, you will try to answer this. Is that right? Here comes how much of practice of answer writing you have done. How much of conceptual clarity you have developed. How well you have understood the idea of continental drift. Right? Chalo. I have told you overall approach. Let me tell you some drawbacks also. थोड़ा सा डरा भी लेते, चलो देखते हैं. So these are also some of the myths associated with geography, in fact. Some of them are myths, some of them are reality. Okay, let's see one by one how many of them are myths, how many of them are reality. The first one, there is a very wide area. Okay, so the syllabus is very vast and the coverage has to be very vast. Is that right? There is something common which you have heard about geography. Yes. Is that true? Yes, it is true, but partially. See, in UPSC, whatever the syllabus which has been given for option, it is carefully chosen. Okay, so there is no partiality from UPSC as such. It doesn't discourage anyone from taking specific option as such. With respect to every subject, every optional subject, the overall volume of study remains the same. The volume of study remains the same. What is volume? Width into depth. Okay, so the area into depth. In some subjects, the area is wide. For example, geography. Okay, you've seen the syllabus by yourself. The area is wide. But the depth is not too much in every topic as such. What you study as part of plate tectonics, you will study is the same plate tectonics here also. Here it becomes more interconnected. Okay, it becomes more interconnected. Right? The depth is not that great. Volume is same. In some areas, the area is less. The depth is more. ऊपर से देखा तो ऐसा लगता है इतना ही छोटा सा है, अंदर घुसो पता चलेगा. Okay, it is deeper. At the end, volume is same. If you ask me, by time, every optional requires at least 5 to 6 months of thorough focus study. Okay, so no optional can be completed in 3 months. If you think some of the optional can be completed in 3 months, you have just seen the surface area, you have not seen the depth. Okay? So from the volumes perspective, it is not that wide. But you have to accept the area is wider. Area तो है ही. That becomes challenging if you don't accept this. ये नहीं सोचना है कि एरिया कम है. Okay, एरिया वाइडर है. बट एफर्ट तो उतना ही लगेगा. ठीक है? Second important challenge, some of them who are from humanities background, they find the subject to be too technical. Okay, I told you about various theories and models. Okay, it appears like technical. It is not so. It is not too technical as such. It is a scientific study. It is a scientific study, methodological study. If you ask me, this is not a challenge, this is in fact advantage. It becomes the merit of the subject. You don't have to be from a science background to study this. You just follow the simple steps, simple basic rules. I told you that flow chart. Okay, so how you have to proceed. Do that, it becomes very easy. Step by step procedure mein jao. It's not that difficult. Okay, methodological study, technical study is the advantage of geography, not a challenge. The problem comes when you start to see things randomly. Okay, when you will see something related to paper 1, paper 2, human geography, सब उठा के फिर examples याद रखना कोशिश करो, mapping लेके आओ. When you don't do methodological study, then it becomes technical, then it becomes difficult for you. Okay, as I told you, if you give proper time, you give 6 months of time, 5 to 6 months of time, a thorough understanding, thorough study, it becomes easier. तो आजकल का बच्चे तो पेशेंस नहीं है, क्या करें? They want everything quick. Okay, so reels का ज़माना है. They want to see the full video also. The advantage we discussed in the beginning. Okay, so I'll come back here. Okay, let me talk about this. Another important challenge of geography is facts and information. Okay, remembering facts and information, I gave you a solution for this. Don't start with facts and information. You need facts and information. You have to remember this. Okay, इसको भी accept करना ही है आपको. It is not something which you can reject. ये नहीं सोचना है कि मैं याद नहीं रखूँगा, compensate करूँगा. नहीं, वो नहीं करना है. But the way you do it should be different. Start with the conceptual part. Okay, so if you do with the conceptual part, it becomes easier for you to remember. ठीक है? Facts and information again becomes advantage if you are capable of remembering them. Okay, so you have to do it at regular intervals, that's it. Okay, maintain a simple note, simple diary from where you will just keep adding the important information. Important information related to what? Related to all these 20 units. Whenever you see some fact and information related to any of these 20 units, just add it. Okay, let's say in newspaper you would have read about something related to water resource, water scarcity है. India में 30% of the area are facing the drought kind of situation. Okay, ऐसे कुछ data आ गया, कुछ report आ गया. Just remember it for the Indian geography resources chapter. Water resource तो है ही उसके अंदर. Second unit resources, in that water resource is there. You should be able to correlate. Like this, try to make a list of all the important data and information. Just add it in your answer. It becomes very, very good. Answer becomes very, very good. Multiple sources of geography is another major challenge. Okay, so even I agree, for geography there are multiple different sources. Okay, so for physical geography you have 5 different books, human geography multiple books, Indian geography multiple books, and some of the areas there are no books. Okay, this becomes challenge, yes, but this is not general studies, this is optional. In multiple sources to hoga hi hoga. Okay, this is for sure, it happens. However, it is always suggested that you make and compile your own notes. Okay, so of course you can take the help of classes, and class में जो dictate करेंगे, class में जो बात करेंगे, उसको एक compile करते जाओ. In geography optional, notes making becomes very, very essential. It's a static subject, and notes can be made in a very comprehensive manner. Of course, current related aspects are there, but you can just integrate them to every static aspect. You should make a comprehensive notes. Okay, so from where you will revise it multiple times. You should develop that pictorial memory. When you see a question in the examination, you should be able to go to that particular corner of your notes. आपका दिमाग exactly वहाँ पर जाना है, तो ये first point, ये second point, ये third point, ऐसे revision होना चाहिए. Okay, so if at all you get such kind of questions, your score definitely crosses 300. है ना? Note making becomes very much essential. And you should be able to compile from different sources. You will take major part of the notes from the class. You will add extra pages. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत extra pages भी add करो. कहीं पे एक और sheet मिल गया, print out ले लो, यहाँ पर चिपका दो. Make a comprehensive notes. It's always good. And that makes it easier. Most important challenge is answer writing. Okay, so I'll address this challenge separately. How to do answer writing? What is the importance of answer writing in geography optional? So why do you need answer writing in geography optional? It appears like the subject is too static. It is because of the basic nature of the subject. Even though it is static, many of the topics are contemporary, many of the topics are related to current affairs. And it is most important thing is you need to integrate them. I've shown you one simple example. The integration is very much important. You would have studied the subject and units in different compartments. While revising after revision, if you are able to integrate them while writing the answer, that gives you the best answer. Right? For that you need practice. You cannot do it directly on the examination. There are many things related to answer writing. Okay, सबसे basic बताओ. Question number 1 and 5 is compulsory. You have 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. In that you have to choose three questions and write. And these 3 questions will decide the score. Out of these 6 questions, not every question is scoring. At that moment, you have to decide based on your preparation, based on your writing capability, you should decide which question is going to be scoring for you. For that, you need practice. And practice is also required for thorough revision. Revision के लिए भी तो practice चाहिए. लिख के याद होगा बहुत सारे चीजें. To write examples, to write figures, diagrams, maps, everything is related to answer writing practice only. It is must. Answer writing practice is must. Okay, then only you will be able to bring this value addition. What are the value addition which you can do through answer writing? Okay, recalling and revising and identifying those areas which are weaker for you. वो identify करना answer writing के through होगा. Okay, while doing the answer, you will try to give more examples. More case studies also becomes important. Specific case studies also you should quote. ये सारा चीजें जो आपका प्रिपरेशन का जो वैल्यू एडिशन होता है ना, जो एक्चुअली थर्ड स्टेज में होगा. आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट 3 stages. In the third stage, the answer writing becomes very, very crucial. Without that, your optional cannot cross 250. You don't do answer writing, your optional score is just limited at 250 only. You have to push towards 280 and 300. Answer writing is must. Okay, some of the areas are very, very complex to understand also. Through answer writing, you make it simple. You make it easier. And many of the students face issue in time management also. Okay, so you have to write extensively here. Optional में लिखना है. Optional में एक क्वेश्चन भी नहीं छोड़ना है. बिल्कुल नहीं. GS में मान लो कोई एक दो क्वेश्चन ऐसे, if you don't know, you may leave it. You should not leave a single question in optional. Time management becomes very, very crucial. So total 8 questions. In that you have to attempt 5 questions. In 5 questions, question number 1 has 5 parts, question number 5 has 5 parts, total 10 questions. In 3 questions, 3 into 3, 9, total of 19 questions you have to attempt. Okay, total of 19 questions. Okay, wait, let me complete this, you can ask in that. Okay? No, hold on to this. Yeah. Is that clear? Why do we have to do answer writing? Answer writing is the essential part of second level and third level preparation. I gave you 3 levels of preparation. First level goes with the class. Okay, so understanding the basic concept. Second level at your revision. Okay, so along with the class you have to do it. Third level, comprehensive revision. Second level you will do the answer writing. Third level you will do mock test, exam environment mock test. There comes the time management. Last part, sources. Okay? So there are n number of sources. There are many sources in the market. In fact, you would have studied most commonly, you would have heard from most commonly. Okay, so इतने सारे books हैं. Physical geography के लिए Savindra Singh is the most famous. For each unit of physical geography, there are separate books. So all of these are the famous books. In this, what are the must sources which one has to cover? Before you start with optional geography, I suggest you to go through these 4 books at least. This is your basic level preparation. Step 0. Step 0 of your preparation, start with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 11th standard part A, fundamentals of physical geography. 11th standard part B, India physical environment. Both are physical geography of world, physical geography of India. 12th standard part A, fundamentals of human geography. 12th standard part B, India, people and economy. Human geography of world, human geography of India. In addition to this, G.C. Leong, Gocheng Leong, physical and human geography of world, not India. Physical and human geography of world. And basic atlas, what you study for general studies. This is the level 0. Okay, so once you are thorough with this, your optional preparation begins. At the first level of optional preparation for physical geography, one book is compulsory, that is what is Savindra Singh. My personal opinion, you can read physical geography of Savindra Singh, comprehensively covering the entire physical geography. Of course, for each of the individual part of physical geography, there are separate books, but this is not compulsory. This is our job. Okay? From coaching institute, we will do this. From your end, you don't have to do this kind of extensive work. From your end, just read physical geography Savindra Singh. One comprehensive book where it covers all the 5 units. Geomorphology, climatology, oceanography, biogeography and environmental geography, all 5 are thoroughly covered in the single book. You don't have to read it separately. Okay? If you complete the 3rd stage, 3-stage preparation, if you complete the 3rd stage, if you write answer writing sab kuch ho gaya, by some mistake, if you don't clear prelims, you have 1 more year of time, then you go with this. My personal opinion, tab bhi ye zaruri nahi padega if your notes is comprehensive. I would always suggest revise from the notes. This is just for reference. But Savindra Singh physical geography, you have to read to get a different perspective. In addition to this, there is also another famous book, usually referred, Rupa publication, physical geography. Small book. Concepts are explained in simple and lucid manner. You can just see it as, as a novel reading. Okay, as a different perspective, you can do that. So basically, for physical geography of paper 1, you can just keep 1 book, physical geography, Savindra Singh. For human geography paper 1, these are the books which are usually referred. Rupa publication, economic and social geography. This is a smaller book, you can read that just as a novel, just go through this. Other than this, for perspectives, Majid Hussain, evolution of geographical thought. Okay, there is also R.D. Dikshit, geographical thought. Okay, so there is another book, Sudipta Adhikari, fundamentals of geographical thought. Either of these, you can go with only 1. Okay. In addition to this, models in geography, this is by Majid Hussain. Out of these 5, I personally recommend this one. This covers models. Models and theories, the 5th unit of human geography, that is covered in a very thorough manner. बहुत अच्छे तरीके से दिया है इधर इसमें. This would be sufficient for that. Okay, of course you will study from the class. Class में भी notes में होगा, point wise होगा. But in spite of that, you have to read this. It gives you a thorough coverage. This is again choice. If you have a good coverage of notes, you can skip this. If you have a good compilation of notes, good compilation of material, you can skip this. If you want to read out of interest, you can go with 1 among them. All 3 are not compulsory. 1 among them. And this one I told you, read it like a novel. Okay, just go through it like a novel. But in case of economic geography, population, settlement and regional planning, you will find shortage. There is no specific book over there. In the market, you will find few books. Okay, so I would not recommend any one as such specifically. You can go with any of them. Best alternative is making notes. Compile notes, make short notes and compile your own notes from various different sources for these 3 units. कौन सा? Economic geography, regional planning and human and settlement. Sorry, population and settlement. Perspective is always better to have a crisp notes, because this, even if you read any of one of this, it is just going to be a detailed book. But that is must. Models in geography is must. सो बेयर मिनिमम कौन सा खरीदना है? फिजिकल ज्योग्राफी सविंद्र सिंह, मॉडल्स इन ज्योग्राफी माजिद हुसैन. Okay, and then Rupa as a novel. Indian geography, there are two famous books. Okay, one is D.R. Khuller, another one is Majid Hussain. You can go with either of them, don't purchase both. Okay, go to any of these photocopy shop, just give a reading, comparative reading, जो easy लग रहा है, जो पढ़ने के लिए better लग रहा है, whatever you feel better, go with either of them, both are fine. Because for Indian geography, you need one comprehensive source. Okay, you can purchase either of them. That would be required. But here also, this becomes, very wide coverage of information. Indian geography, this is the major disadvantage. You just read in a wide coverage manner, your focus becomes dispersed. You will not be able to score better. Okay, the basic concepts which are given there, basic topics which are given there, try to make in notes, compiled notes here. That should be solidly backed up by the paper one. Whatever the units you are covering, try to connect with the paper one. Okay, so with that, try to link it with the current affairs. Backward linkage, forward linkage. That makes a simple comprehensive notes for Indian geography, and use this as a reference. Okay, so you can also refer to this for regional planning in India, but this is again a little bit more detail. Regional planning also, I would always suggest go with notes. For current affairs, many topics are related to current affairs. It is not something which you have to do it separately. Anyway, you have to study for GS. Okay, but while reading GS current affairs, try to see which one is related to your optional geography. If you know the topics of optional geography thoroughly, you can do it very easily. Whenever you read a newspaper, whenever you read a current affairs magazine, try to link it over there. That linking should come automatically. Okay, because if I ask you to make a thorough notes of current affairs related to geography, that becomes repetitive. You anyway have to read them for general studies prelims as well as mains. Okay, try to link over there. You will get this current affairs in environment section. Okay, if at all you are asking me Vision IAS magazine, monthly magazine environment section is going to be very useful for you in geography optional. Okay, so whether you are going to read Vision IAS or any other material monthly magazine, newspaper becomes important. You have to read newspaper on daily basis. Okay, so most of the times in a week, at least you will find 3-4 editorial articles which are related to geography optional. Such kind of articles don't miss. Okay, whether it is related to urbanization, environmental issues, or agriculture, or resource management, industries, milega. It is going to be very useful. Sometimes you will get a question directly over there. In a week, you will find at least 3 to 4 articles that are related to geography optional. Such kind of articles either make a summary or cut it and keep it aside. You can use it to revise along with the geography notes. ठीक है, और इजी बताओ, कंपाइल कर दो ऐसे कट करके. ओके, अलग अलग साइज का होगा, सो फोटोकॉपी में जाके दे दो, उनको पता है, दे विल मेक इट एज ए फोटोकॉपी एंड गिव इट बैक यू एज ए बुक. बेस्ट है वो. ये वो जब क्लिप्स बनाओगे ना, वो फैल जाते हैं, डिस्पर्स हो जाते हैं, एक जगह में नहीं रहेगा. एक एक महीने का जितना आर्टिकल्स मिलेगा, तो उसको जाके एक बार जाके तो फोटोकॉपी करवा दो. यू विल गेट ए सिंगल बुक. ठीक है. Newspaper is must. Other than this, magazine. One magazine you can read. Okay, so this again is not something which is very much compulsory. पढ़ना ही है ऐसा नहीं है. If you read it, it adds value. Either you can refer to Down to Earth magazine or Planet Vision magazine. What is this Planet Vision? A new initiative of Vision IAS. Okay, we are releasing monthly environment magazine. Okay, so as a magazine. Okay, not as a current affairs revision material. You will find proper articles here, similar to Down to Earth. You go to Vision IAS website, you can download that. Okay, already we are releasing for everyone. You can use this magazine. In addition to this, there is also Yojana and Kurukshetra. Okay, so every month you would have read, market mein to aa hi jata hai. This is going to be for Indian geography. Agriculture, resources, okay, particularly in that area, this becomes important. Again, you don't have to read from end to end. See the articles, see the editorial, see the articles which you find relevant. If you are thorough with syllabus and PYQ, you can easily notice this. ओके तो आप बहुत इजीली नोटिस कर सकते हो योजना एंड कुरुक्षेत्र का जो आर्टिकल्स है. इफ यू फाइंड समथिंग इंटरेस्टिंग अगेन फाड़ दो, नोट्स के साथ में रख दो. अगर इतना भी नहीं करना है तो उसको फोटोकॉपी कर लो, एक पेपर में आएगा तो चिपका दो बस. दैट कंपाइलेशन इज वेरी मच इंपॉर्टेंट. ओके सो द हाउ यू गोइंग टू कंपाइल द नोट्स. And there are also few PIB updates for specific ministries, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Earth Science, Ministry of Agriculture. Okay, so in this PIB updates, you can specifically select the ministry and see, right? So you can see that. And some of the annual reports, particularly from the Ministry of Agriculture, you can refer to just for value addition. ठीक है? That is overview of geography optional. So अभी बताइए questions. Yes, you were asking something. Yes. आप कुछ पूछ रहे थे? Okay. So if you have taken geography as optional, how much portion of GS is covered? Or if you have studied geography from GS perspective, how much portion of optional is covered? Okay, so this is the second one. So geography from general studies, I showed you in one of the slide. What are the areas of general studies where geography comes? It comes in both paper 1 as well as paper 3. So if you study all of this, geography is 30 to 35% is covered. Okay, so if you include current affairs, okay, these current affairs areas which I showed you, if you include that, let's say 40% is covered. Rest, you have to do it specifically. Many of the times you will find very, very generic questions. Okay, very, very generic questions. One such question was related to COVID-19. Okay, so how in the slum areas, okay, so epidemics become too difficult to control in the context of COVID-19. If you write general answer, you will get general marks. Always remember, even if a question appears very generally in optional, you have to write it specifically. Try always to link with models and theories. Models and theories is one unit which all of you should be completely thorough. 100% thorough होना चाहिए आपका. Okay, at the tip of your finger you should be able to see. ठीक है, ये मॉडल है, यहाँ पर अप्लाई कर सकते हो, ये मॉडल है, यहाँ पर अप्लाई कर सकते हो. Okay, so try to always correlate with models and theories. Try to bring some of these thinker. That makes the answer specific. Okay, so add some these perspectives, bring some connectivity, give examples. Okay, so current context, that's how you make an answer specific. This is a very important question which most of the students face. In fact, many students fail to plan properly and they end up wasting one complete year. Okay, so let me clear this. Because, so those who are just prepared, who has just started their general studies preparation, they think that their time, they will not be able to give a thorough time for both. And they either they don't decide on optional or they just keep delaying. They think that they will complete GS first, then do the geography or any other optional. So because of which their one crucial year will be completely gone. Okay, so I'll give you a timeline. So here we are in, let's say, July 1st. ठीक है? The first deadline is at 31 December. Next deadline is 25 of May. The last deadline is, okay, so when is the mains? 22? Okay, 22 August. Okay, this is 2024, 2024, 2025, 2025. Okay, many of you would have just started your general studies preparation. Okay, मान लो, even if you assume just begun. The green line is going to be your general studies preparation. Okay, I'm imagining you just started from here. Your general studies preparation will go up to this stage. However, even that goes in different phases. Till December 31st, you will do pre comes mains in an integrated manner. After December 31st, 2024 up to 25 May 2025, you will do only prelims. From here to here, only mains. This is your responsibility. Whatever the coaching you have joined, whatever the academy, whatever, whether you are doing self-preparation, it is up to you to ensure this general studies preparation. Till December, you have to do it in an integrative manner. After that, exclusively prelims, general studies. After that, exclusively mains, general studies. Okay? There is no second choice here. Let me mark optional. This is your optional stage 1 and 2. Remember, I gave you 3 stages. Optional stage 1 and 2 goes parallelly here. It's not like you have to manage, you can manage. It's not a difficult thing. From here to here, no need of optional. If you have completed stage 1 and stage 2 of optional, you are completely ready and thorough. You will start with optional stage 3 here. Okay? Here optional stage 1 and stage 2 goes parallelly along with your optional classes. Okay, as you cover the optional classes, you will also do simultaneous revision and some writing of answer, assignments and answer writing. Okay, PV, PYQ analysis, all of this will go. By the end of this, your optional is done and ready. You will do only prelims preparation here. This is very, very crucial. Only if you clear this, you will come here. Don't worry too much about optional. Even if you are not able to completely be thorough, एक ही बार हुआ है, दूसरी बार करना था, plan नहीं हुआ, मतलब ठीक से नहीं हुआ, तो सब छोड़ो, prelims में लगो. Come back here, okay, and write this. Here it becomes crucial for you. You have to attend GS classes as well as optional classes. Okay, so daily I assume it will come to 6 hours. Okay, 6 hours to hoga. And daily you will have to do a minimum revision of 6 hours. A minimum of 6 hours revision you have to do. Okay, so in general sense, you can divide it equally. 3 hours of general studies, 3 hours of optional. And if somebody is weaker in GS, you can give a little bit more time. If somebody is weaker in optional, totally freshly new optional leke padhai kar rahe ho, you can give a little bit more time. 3 hours of revision for general studies, 3 hours of revisions for optional. 3 hours, is it sufficient time? If you use it efficiently, it is sufficient time. If you had used the class hours productively, if you had listened to the class with 100% focus, 1 hour would be sufficient for revision. I'm giving you 3 hours. That doesn't mean that 3 hours of class you will revise for another 3 hours. 3 hours revision doesn't mean that the entire 3 hours you are going to revise. What we studied in 3 hours, you are going to revise in 1 hour. The next 2 hours, you are going to refer to the textbooks. Or if you are a little bit ahead, you will refer to the previous unit and revise that also. जो stage 2 parallelly करना है ना, वो next 2 hours में होगा. Answer लिखना होता है, assignment submit करना होता है, वो सारा 3 घंटे में करना है. 12 hours हो गया, बाकी आपके पास 12 hours है, उड़ा लो. Simple है. Use it efficiently, you will be able to do it. It's not a big deal. Okay, 3 hours of general studies, you can revise in 3 hours. Again, the same thing. 3 years of general studies doesn't mean that you will take 3 more hours to revise that. You should finish that in 1 hour and do extra study for 2 more hours. Simple. Or yes, for many it may feel so. If you are finding difficulty, okay, the question is how to read NCERTs more easily, effectively. Okay, so for some of the students, you may find the NCERT to be a little bit difficult. Okay, so in that case, start from 6th standard NCERT. And if you are taking geography as optional, don't make notes in NCERT. You are going to make detailed notes for optional. This notes is not going to be useful. Don't make notes in NCERT if you are taking geography as optional. Okay? Give a reading. Develop a general understanding of the different concepts. Start from 6th standard NCERT, 6, 7, 8. Then you can start with 11th and 12th. Okay? Go gradually. And you don't have to remember each and every word. If you are doing geography only from the general studies perspective, then you will have to go through each and every word. If you are taking optional, you will go in more detail. Okay, so anything if you read more in detail, वो ऊपर में जितना चाहिए वो याद हो जाएगा. GS के लिए जितना चाहिए वो ऑटोमेटिकली याद हो जाएगा ऑप्शनल में. ठीक है? Any of the newspaper, either Hindu or Indian Express, both are fine. It's up to you. For some students, Hindu becomes very boring. Okay, honestly, even for me also it was. How do we find out which article is relevant to geography? 2-step. Number 1, syllabus. Be thorough with syllabus. Number 2, PYQ. Do a thorough analysis of PYQ. Last 10 year compulsory. If possible, push up to last 25 years. You do this thorough analysis of these two, your current affairs is set.
I'm unable to complete that 150 word because it's only that I define the solar day and the sidereal and then I make the diagram. So that is of approx 80 to 90 words and the answer from my side was completed. So will that be sufficient or I have to add something else to complete it 150?
Okay. So this doubt you always get. While writing answer, should you actually fill up to 150 words? If it is 150 words, you have to fill 150 words or not. So it doesn't matter much. So if you think you have fulfilled the demand of the question, even in less words, it is fine. But it should not be too less. You cannot write 80 to 90 words in the place of 150. That will be considered to be less. If you are writing that much, that means you can do more. There is more to do. Okay, instead of 150, you can finish in 130. Or instead of 150, you can go up to 170 is also fine. The idea is to fulfill the demand of the question. Okay? As you write more, you will understand this. Because in assignments, class assignment, what you get is a very simple and direct questions. Okay, so as you write more, you will find more complex integrated questions. There you will have more to write. You will not find shortage of content. In fact, you will write more.
So as you mentioned, it's a difficult subject, so even if you write the answers, which is going to be the definition specific. Okay, so it's going to fetch a lot of marks. Let's say in other subjects we have to be very, very much descriptive. So how it's going to be?
Okay. So let me put this in another way. So your doubt is how to score more in geography by writing technically. See, even though geography is a very technical subject, it is not 100% technical as such. In every area, there is some technical aspect to it, and then there is some more descriptive aspect to it. Okay, it is always there. The scope is always there. Okay, so that is why we say geography is both art as well as science. There is some subjectivity you can bring. Even in physical geography also. Okay, even in physical geography also, some of the concepts where you try to interlink, okay, there you can bring subjectivity. Okay, so there you have the scope of diversifying your answer. Okay, you can always link geography with economics, geography with sociology, geography with environment. You will always get different dimensions. And more the dimensions, more examples. That is how you score more. Otherwise, the theory is same. Okay, the theory is same. They're not expecting you to write the core theory. How you are interpreting the theory. That becomes important. So, was that fine? So, did I clear your doubt?
Yes. I just want like a ambiguous about something goods, goods related to senses and considering its attributes, behaving as a wonderful subject. So what's your point? Like this and this want to get from an expert of geography.
No, what is your apprehension?
Your like your convincing points to why to choose geography so that I should also be persuaded.
I explained in the beginning. There are, okay, so there are few basic reasons why not only me, why a large number of aspirants choose geography as optional. First thing is it's the subject is interesting. Okay, you can relate with the outside world. Okay, it is something which you have already done practically, and now you are reading theory. Whether it is monsoon or whether it is related to the cyclones or whether it is related to the earthquakes, you'd have heard or seen or experienced somewhere. Okay, it appears more interest. Okay, so that is one of the reason why people choose geography. And other than that, there is a well established way of studying geography. Okay, so I was giving few examples in the beginning. So you go back in time, like, so I was telling the time before 2010. So people used to choose geography after their prelims result and prepare for it and clear the exam also. Okay, this was one of the well established optional. The subject of the study way is very well established. There is no shortage of sources. There is no shortage of the questions or anything. The preparation support. And third is scoring. It has been scoring. Okay, so the myth about not scoring, any optional is scoring for that matter. Okay, and it has a huge contribution in general studies. So I even we counted that it has contributing nearly 175 marks in GS mains. And this year prelims, 20 marks, 20 questions, 40 marks, 20 questions is directly from geography. Plus 15 questions of environment. Okay, so these are the factors to be convinced. So rest everything, I would not convince anyone to take geography as such. Okay, so I don't do that ever. The first thing you should always consider is your interest. You find the subject as interesting, go with it. No other reason can stop you from taking geography. Because usually the apprehension is whether it is scoring or not, whether you get sufficient material or not, okay, whether you can study or not. You don't have to be from science background to take geography. You do a thorough answer writing practice, systematic study, you can go with this. My only condition for you is whether you have interest in geography or not. You have interest, okay, come to me, I'll tell you everything. Anything else? Okay. So that is all about it from my end. A brief analysis of geography optional as such. So if you have any more queries, you can write to me at this mail ID, or if you want to connect with me, you can use this. Okay. So I wish you all the best. Thank you.